I'd like to ask Regent Farr to start with the Academic and Student Affairs Committee and call it to order.
Thank you, Chairman Martin. I'd like to call the Academic and Student Affairs Committee to order. Dr. Denby, would you please call roll?
Yes, sir. Regent Farr?
Here.
Regent Dupre? Regent Abraham?
Is that a foul?
There's gas controls. We'll be working on a firewall system. So the district order getting involved in the affair. Once again, this is gas controls. We'll be working on a firewall system. So please move
All right, we'll disregard you.
Regent Adley is here. Regent Chabert? Regent Levy? Regent Temple? Here. Regent Wiley? Here. LCTCS representative? LSU representative? Here. Southern University representative? Present. And University of Louisiana representative? Here. We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Dr. Denby. Our first item is business is 3A, letters of intent. Dr. Kahn, please.
Good morning. We do have 2 letters of intent for your consideration. The first is from LSU for a Bachelor of Social Work. Through coursework, field internship placement, and involvement in other university opportunities, a graduate of the proposed BSW will have acquired a specific body of knowledge, values, and professional skills which equips that individual for entry-level social work practice and a wide variety of social service settings. LSU is pursuing this program in order to address the need for more licensed social workers at the bachelor's level in Louisiana and nationally. Workforce data was provided to substantiate this claim, as were letters of support from state agencies, rehabilitation clinics, and community-based organizations. While there are 6 public institutions offering bachelor's degrees in social works that graduated a total of 220 students last year, there is and will continue to be a need for social workers at the baccalaureate level. The program proposed by LSU will help address this gap. In addition, there is strong indication of student interest in the BSW program at LSU based on the growth in the social work minor, as well as survey responses by current LSU students, which revealed there are a multitude of students that would prefer to pursue a social work degree rather than the degree they are currently pursuing. The proposed program will complement LSU's existing MSW and PhD, which is the state's only PhD social work program, and the BSW would benefit from existing faculty that could integrate their research into courses and other learning experiences. The second letter of intent is from LSUA for a BS in Health Sciences. The proposed BSHS will prepare individuals to enter the 21st workforce with training in the latest concepts and technologies associated with resuscitation science and the treatment of cardiovascular disease, as well as to serve as a springboard for graduate work in a specific health-related field. The proposed program will have 2 concentrations. Cardiovascular technology concentration will focus on cardiac catheterization laboratory technologists, while the cardiac device sales and marketing concentration will train individuals for positions with companies that market and sell cardiac devices. The curriculum will consist of 120 credit hours. 63 hours are going to be required general education and basic science prerequisite courses, and the remaining 57 hours will focus on cardiac science courses specific to the concentration selected by the student. There is also a clinical experience embedded into the curriculum. LSU-A was approached by area cardiologists and cardiac catheterization laboratory personnel, urging them to pursue a program like the one that is proposed. The BSHS will be unique in that it will focus on cardiovascular science in order to provide an allied health workforce ready to meet the needs of central Louisiana, which serves as a major hub for cardiovascular referrals for 9 parishes. Based on the information provided, it is the recommendation of senior staff that the committee recommend approval of the letter of intent to develop proposals for the Bachelor of Social Work at LSU and then the BS in Health Sciences at LSUA.
Thank you. Members, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve? Second? Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. We're now on 3B. Dr. Denby.
Yes, sir. Fletcher and Soy
Fletcher and Zoella Technical Community Colleges have both proposed a new Associate of Applied Science degrees in Business Administration to prepare students for entry-level positions in management, marketing, and general business administration. The two programs are similar in that they include introductory business and human resources concepts, including accounting, economics, management, marketing, and communication, as well as human resources and the legal environment of business. The content and credentials are offered across the state, but it is a shared need for entry-level managers in any business. Fletcher's curriculum includes a Certificate of Technical Studies in General Business after the first 33 hours. For both, campuses are reminded that students should be advised that this new AAS is not designed to be a transfer degree. And the third item is a Postmaster's Certificate in Family Nurse Practitioner at Northwestern State University. Students in the Master of Science nursing programs can choose among several areas of concentration, several of which lead to certification as a nurse practitioner in the area, like gerontology, acute care, or primary care. To practice as a family nurse practitioner, the nurse must hold a Master of Science in Nursing with the relevant courses and clinical experiences and pass a national exam. Northwestern has been serving nurses seeking postgraduate family nurse practitioner certification for over 15 years. This request would formalize it with the academic credential of the Postmaster's Certificate. Therefore, senior staff recommends that the committee recommend conditional approval of the Associate of Applied Science in Business Administration at Fletcher Technical Community College and the Associate of Applied Science in Business Administration at Zoella Technical Community College with progress reports due by 1 June 2017, and approval of the Postmaster's Certificate in Family Nurse Practitioner at Northwestern.
Thank you, Dr. Denby.
Yes, sir.
We've heard the recommendation for item 3B. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? Further discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll now move to agenda item 4, revisions to Academic Affairs Policy 2.14, Teacher Preparation Education. Dr. Burns, would you do that?
Thank you. In 2000-2001, the Board of Regents approved a policy dealing with teacher preparation, education, and guidelines. At that time, the primary purpose of that particular policy was to require all teacher preparation programs within the state to redesign their programs, to terminate existing programs, and to require all programs to undergo new approval from the Board of Regents. Last fall, our Board of Regents Advisory Council on Teacher and Leader Preparation Effectiveness met for the first time and discussed needs that they saw within our state dealing with teacher preparation. Regent Richard Lipsey is now chairing that particular council, and we will be meeting again next week. At that particular meeting, it became very, very clear that we needed to update our Board of Regents policy on teacher preparation education. We found at that meeting that there was the perception that after teacher preparation programs underwent initial approval, there was no other review of the programs. That's true for private providers, but that is not true for university-based teacher preparation programs within our state. As a result, our first step was to pull together our College of Education deans to have a discussion pertaining to changes that needed to occur within the policy and within the guidelines. You will find in the information that you've been provided the recommended guidelines that we are putting forth before you today. The College of Education deans, working with the Board of Regents, and we've worked with the chief academic officers, we have identified 9 different requirements that must be in place in order for teacher preparation programs within our state to be approved to operate, and you have a listing of those. You will see the that all teacher preparation programs currently must undergo initial approval by the Board of Regents, initial approval by the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. They undergo inspection during the SAC-COC institutional accreditation, regional accreditation visitation. They undergo review inspection as part of national accreditation. The Louisiana Department of Ed, as well as Bessie, reviews the programs as well on an ongoing basis. Programs even have to provide changes to their courses for their curriculum to be approved by the Louisiana Department of Education. So we now have within the guidelines the various ways in which the programs have to undergo review. If you look at the requirements, you'll see that the 9th requirement deals with different types of measures pertaining to effectiveness. The Board of Regents has approved requirements that we call it the Teacher Preparation Accountability System, that we look at licensure passage rates for reporting to the U.S. Department of Education for the Higher Education Act when we have to identify at-risk and low-performing teacher preparation programs within the state. Our colleges of educations are now working with the Board of Regents to move from having only one indicator to having multiple indicators. And we already have information going out to the school districts for review of this. So I just want to make you aware of the fact that this is a 9th indicator that we have here as a requirement, but we're looking at this undergoing further, more rigor within it, more than likely during the spring. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and put before you that the staff recommends that the Academic and Student Affairs Committee recommend approval of the proposed changes to Academic Affairs Policy 2.14, Teacher Preparation Education, and the accompanying guidelines.
Thank you, Dr. Burns. Is there a motion to approve the item as presented?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, just ask one question.
Bring your lady.
This has been an ongoing effort for as long as I can remember, and it's been great. What did you find when you went back and looked, other than these 9 deals, was there anything that jumped out at the team that gave you some concern? Excuse me. Any concern as to our teacher preparation programs? I looked, I didn't see anything that said, boy, we missed the boat on that or missed the boat. This looks like it's just a review process.
Actually, at our advisory council meeting next week, we are going to actually be discussing an area where we do think that there needs to be more work that needs to occur. And this is going to be strange to say this, but a real focus, and you were involved in all of that change, but a real focus was upon having outcome data so that you could actually look at whether the changes that had occurred were actually having impact upon student learning and upon the effectiveness of new teachers. We actually have some positive outcome data, but there's problems right now in that the public does not know how to interpret it. As an example, we now have data on how well teachers are doing on the new state teacher evaluation system. We put forth a data dashboard last year. We had only 66 undergrad, first and second year teachers who fell in that ineffective range out of 43,000 teachers evaluated. We had only like 61 coming out of our alternate programs. That's less than 7% of all teachers being evaluated. So what we are actually, it's less than 7% of all the teachers who are identified as being ineffective. So our major issue right now is finding a way to provide accurate data to the public to help them understand the data that we now have about our teacher preparation programs. Because we have positive data, we are being very open to the public, we're being very transparent to the public, but we need to help the public understand what the data means as it relates to effectiveness. So right now, we're going out, getting input from the public. We'll be getting input from our advisory council members of ways in which we can help to communicate what is effectiveness, what does it look like, and then they can look at what's occurring within our programs, and they will be able to see where effective